Hi there, and welcome to today's devotion. You join me here in the church with the beautiful Christmas lights that are now up. We're looking forward to Christmas this year at the church, and we hope you can join us for our various services. Today we're looking at Haggai or Haggai. Not really sure how I'll pronounce that. Probably will change as I go through. I'm going to start with Haggai. Let's look into God's word. Haggai was a very old man. As a boy, he had been hauled off to Babylon as a slave. Behind him lay the smoking ruins of Jerusalem and the temple. Alongside him tramped the surviving remnant of the chosen people of God. At length, the boy captive saw the city itself, great Babylon, which sat astride the Euphrates and ruled the world. It was to be his home from boyhood to old age. But he would never forget his roots. He would recall 1,000 times the promises of Jeremiah and the preaching of Ezekiel. The startling visions of Daniel would also come to mind, visions that ran down the avenues of time to distant ages yet unborn. His generation grew up, and another took its place. Haggai could not help but notice that this new generation had little longing left for the land of promise. Indeed, when Cyrus issued his famous decree, emancipating the Jews captives he had inherited from the Babylonians, most Jews weren't interested at all. They had been born in Babylon. They had made it their home. The vast Persian Empire, covering some 2 million square miles, was their emporium. It was a great place to do business and to grow rich. Of the 24 orders of priests, only 4 took Cyrus seriously. Of the entire Levitical tribe, only 74 responded. The treasures and pleasures of Babylon had most of the Jews in their grip. Haggai, however, responded with joy. He was going home. And at first his hopes burned high, for when they arrived back in Jerusalem, an altar was built and the foundations of a new temple were laid. But then it all fizzled out, and Haggai was outraged. The Spirit of God fell upon him, and he began to preach. "Consider your ways," he cried, chapter 1, verse 5. They were eating and drinking, buying and building, ploughing and planting, and God blew on it, and it all came to nothing. Why? Because God's house was being neglected. That's why. When under the lash and spur of Haggai, the people finally stirred themselves and completed the house, another problem surfaced. The old men wept because they remembered the glittering golden splendor of Solomon's temple. And this new temple was a mere ghost of a temple compared with that one. They wept. "Never mind," God said. "This house will be blessed in a way never known by Solomon's temple. God himself will visit this temple." And so it was that when Jesus came, he did indeed visit that temple. He visited it as a babe in Mary's arms, as a boy full grown, and as a man with whip in hand and with fire in his eye. He came to cast out and to cleanse. Solomon's golden shrine had watched on in vain for such a visitation of God manifest in flesh. The bottom line, as we would say, in Haggai's prophecy, I told you I'd pronounce his name differently, was simply this: if we put God's house first, God will put our house first. It's such a challenge when you get into that little book of Haggai, to think about how easy it is for us to get comfortable in this world and not seek to put God first, but the futility of living like that. The fact is, when we honor God, God honours us. And when we put him first in our lives, it's not loss, it's only gain. May God really help us to do that, to watch out for the danger of putting down so many roots in this world that we forget actually we're just passing through. May the Lord help us to live like that today. Thank you so much for joining me. Come back tomorrow for another devotion, and don't forget to comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss the next video. God bless you today. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, remember to stay close to Jesus.